Sori.
That's Booby.
And Colby and Chip and Ghosty. This is the Epic Underground.
Epic Underground. That's what the big homie. I was gonna say Chris Culp, but Chris Culp is Sitting Glory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the Epic. It's not Chris Culp's group.
It's
the Epic Underground.
Wait, hold on.
No, we had it. You had it.
It was there?
You had it right there.
It said who's the leader?
Sitting Glory, True Culp.
No, it doesn't say that. Drew Legary.
Ah. Oh.
Oh, it's Drew.
Oh, it's Drew. I mean, Drew, we work with him pretty... Are we up to speed on all the things that we owe everybody?
No, because we had a discrepancy here that I have to reach out to him about, because one of them is Japan, Blue Blood 1990, and I think both of us are scared to do anything
we can't do any Japanese bands because we already have a copyright strike from our good friends at who was it? Who's that band?
Whoa. What? I was looking at
the band that gave us the copyright strike.
Oh,
Guns N' Roses. Guns N'
yeah.
Roses. Okay, so you have copyright claims, which basically means they're going to take all the money that you generate from the video. That's fine. So we've probably generated $1 million for the various,
Yes. We've not seen any of it.
We still... But then you have copyright strikes, which is if you get 3 of those, your channel is dead.
Like literally overnight, we could just disappear. And you're like, where did Vin and Sori go?
Where did Vin and Sori go? You won't be able to find it.
You'd be like, are they still together? Yes, we are still together, but we can no longer connect with you.
Right. So, we're not doing any bands from Japan. So if
Or on other forums, though. If we disappear, check the other forums to find us.
Right. If Japan is a Japanese band, we can't do it. If they're not a Japanese band, we'll love to do it. Anyway, this is the Epic Underground. Thank you very much, patrons, for your patience.
Wait. Remember our random Disney guy that was like walking around Disney?
I was going to save that as best for last, but go ahead.
Anyway, somebody had sent us his picture. Well, he did reach out to us. Here he is. Seven Dusted is the name that he goes by.
The big homie?
Yes.
Shout out to the big homie?
Yeah, he said that he was going to be sending the picture, well, this one, I guess, but then he said, much to his surprise, he was like watching the review and it came up. I'm like, tell me what you were thinking. He hasn't responded to me yet, so I'm very curious to know, like, what would that be like to just be watching the video and be like, wait, that's me!
If you want a shirt, dear listener, you can click the little banner under the thingamajig. You'll be able to do it.
Patrons, or in our description, the link in our description.
Patrons, thank you very much for your patience. We try to reward you by putting up the Korn show review early. Mm-hmm. So everybody else is going to be receiving it part 1 on Thursday, part 2 on Friday. You guys got part 1 today, and you'll have part 2 tomorrow. Thank you guys for your patience. Also, shout out to my little brother Sean. Love you, buddy. You're going to crush that test for sure. All right, let's get to it. Heaven and Hell, Bible Black. Let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah,
and
get my lyrics up. Hold on. All right, we're good.
Wait, we're not good.
That hurts so bad.
Does it?
Yeah.
Go.
Ronnie J. Theo!
Fire's dying, burned another day. Now to pretend and make up an ending somewhere far away. He reached for a book all bound in leather, something that he knows he
good.
Ronnie freaking
Yeah.
James Dio.
Yeah.
Gah! Rest in peace to the big homie.
For sure. Yeah.
2009 this came out. So this is pretty recent. Maybe this is the last record they did. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But they, the name of the band. And it's Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi, Geezer I mean, that's basically Black Sabbath. Like, that's the Sabbath lineup, basically. That riff, man, that was like some funk metal. Like,
Yeah.
I like riffs where I feel like sometimes like I get soundtrack and it's bad. Like I'm trying to put that behind me, but like I get soundtracks to like sometimes there's songs that are like soundtracks to how we used to be in school. When shit was about to go down like that, dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like you used to listen to music and whatever, get in the zone. But
Oh my god.
good lord.
The differences of growing up in New York and Maine.
But yeah, like this was one of them joints, man. Like and like
Yeah, it had a good sound to it.
But this guy Tony Iommi, man, forget about it. You got guys like, and I still haven't introduced you to Ingrid Malmsteen yet, but his scale work is insane. I mean, he's playing at a ridiculously fast clip. Jimi Hendrix, another guy, like, I get it, like, those guys are like Steve Vai virtuosos, but like, as far as like, this is a dude in Tony Iommi that like created a genre with literally millions of people following him, like,
Oh yeah.
picking up a guitar and whatever, and
Yep.
the guy, he's the king, man. Like you can have Head is my favorite guitarist, like period, especially after last week.
No.
But this guy, this guy is. I mean, there's 8 billion people on this planet currently, supposedly, and this dude. He's just gifted, man. And,
Yes.
and to be able to, from the beginning, it's a weird thing where, okay, this is a guy that basically invented metal, like the progressions and things that laid the framework for metal. And then all these amazing artists built on it and
like lots of
modernized his sound. And then he can jump back into it in 2009 and go, oh, this is what you guys did with my style? Okay, watch this. Jump to it. Like,
I'm still at the top.
that's it, period. Full stop.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Like and we usually focus on the lyrics, and the lyrics are very interesting, and we're going to. It's just I get blown. You know what really blows me away about anything, whether it's Christianity, a marriage, football player, basketball player, musician. You know what really gets me?
What?
It's longevity. Like that to me separates greatness. Like, can you
Right.
be consistently great?
Lots of people can sprint.
Right. Can you be consistently
the 5K?
great over
Yeah.
and over and over and over and over and over again? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like when I used to listen to records, Korn was the exception, Slipknot was the exception. You would listen, you would buy all these records from these bands, and it was like 2 or 3 songs were good. And then the rest of it, you could just chuck it in the garbage. And this guy's been going 40, 50 years, making amazing
Have you
music.
heard like full albums by him?
By Black Sabbath?
Well,
Or by who
with Ronnie James Dio in it. Like, have you heard like,
I'm
lots of his stuff?
specifically talking about Tony Iommi. I'm talking about the guitarist. Like, every song we've listened to from them, and in various iterations, doesn't matter who the singer is.
He's just good.
He's just he's amazing. I'm blown away by that. And this guy, like, I feel like Tony Iommi doesn't get enough credit. I really do. Like, he's a legend and stuff, but it's like, there's certain, like, there's Hall of Famers, and then there's Tom Brady and Joe Montana. And honestly, we're in the middle of the Tom Brady era right now, so like we don't realize how great he is, even though we love how great he is. But Michael Jordan, like, the guy is it's like, okay, Michael Jordan, and then you have awesome, great players. Yeah. like LeBron, great, I love him, but like it's Michael Jordan. Like he's in his own thing, and I feel like this Tony Iommi should be a separate thing. When you're talking about metal and guitarists and stuff like that, this dude, he's got to be somewhere else. Other people can be in the Hall of Fame and stuff like that, but this guy is his own category, period. It's like my Muslim friends where Muhammad, there's all these different levels of heaven. Muhammad has his own level.
Yeah.
Like Tony Iommi has his own place in Jannat al-Firdaus. Like, forget it. I really believe that.
Is he's still around or no?
He's still alive. He's still
he
alive.
Is? Okay.
Inshallah. He's still alive. But I mean, it's amazing. It's unbelievable to me. Born in 1948. He's still around. But okay. What do you think the song was about?
Well, parts of it sounded like it was somebody that, like, when it was talking about the Bible black. Where did it go?
Yeah.
Right there. To me, it kind of sounded like somebody that, like, how like when sometimes people get into like religion and then they get lost within that, like,
right.
Because he was saying, like, basically you have your addiction. Scroll down.
Yeah, and I feel alive, right?
Yeah. Take me back. I must have the Bible black. But I'm not even sure if I have that right, but it's just what it sounded like to me, was just that whole thing. Like it can be like, how sometimes people are like, they first enter like a religious context and then they lose all sense of who they are. They just become like this,
right,
this form of like
drone of,
of that religion, and they look so much like all the other people and they lose their individuality and stuff like that. Like, that's not what's supposed to happen in religion. You're supposed to have your individuality, but you're gonna progress and you're gonna grow in your holiness.
Which is what we talked about in the Bible Boogie. We were like, there is one way to God, that's through Jesus, but everybody has a separate story with Jesus, and you can't make how you relate to God the way that the other person has to.
Right.
And then you make everybody into an automaton that looks exactly like you. Like, it should be... You're right. Like, I get very kind of like skeptical when like everybody is going the same direction, believes the same thing, thinks the same way, worships the same way, has the same outlooks on things. There ought to be a bunch of variation.
Yeah.
And
things you don't agree on, we agree on all of it. Our pastor always has the best sermons every week.
yeah, and that, I mean, think about it. If that was how it was supposed to be, it's funny. If everybody was supposed to be like this automaton all the time, then there would be no need for the constant pleas in the New Testament. Be unified, be unified, be unified. The reason that you have to constantly say be unified is because there's so much diversity. And what's interesting is he never says get rid of the diversity. What he says is leave them alone. One guy's a vegetarian, one guy likes to eat meat all day, leave them alone. One guy wants to worship this day, one guy wants to worship this. Leave them alone, just get along with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But so, yeah, I agree. Like, like religion ends up doing that to people, although I don't know if that's what's going on in this particular song.
Okay, what do you think's going on in the song?
Well, it says, at last alone his fire's dying, burn another day, now to pretend to make up an ending somewhere far away. So it looks to me like this guy is like, he's going through the drudgery of just regular life in the world.
Yeah.
And then, he either is making this situation up in his own head to give himself excitement, or his boredom with his life is what made him vulnerable to
religion.
Like
what it says in the leather book.
Well, Bible. I don't think Bible black means like the Bible. I think Bible black is like some sort of like satanic variation of it.
Oh, okay.
And so he's got hooked on it.
Okay.
And so he reached for a book all bound in leather, something that he knows he's never read. And the first page says, "Beware, you found the answer." The next one says, "I wish you were dead." So that can't be the regular Bible.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it looks like some sinister version of some, thing. And then right here, maybe I just stumbled in the dark. I must have been out cold, but the way the story's told, they found me naked lying in the rain. So
I missed that part.
He gets put in this crazy trance, and then he's found naked lying in the rain. Like, the Bible does not have that effect on me.
No. Nope.
Inshallah, it better not. All you Bible boogie people, you better not call me up. You better not call me up in some prison asking to get bailed out because you were reading your Bible and then you ended up naked. But you know what's funny is the the demoniac in the Gadarenes. One of the symptoms of being possessed was he was walking around naked all the time.
Yes. Yep.
So it just seems to me that this is a guy, he's bored with his life, and it's either, like I said, it's either he's making it up or it leaves him vulnerable to be drawn into some darkness because he wants some novelty in his life. And then obviously it backfired on him because now he's naked in the rain. Let me go. I've seen religion, but the light has left me blind. Take me back. I must have the Bible black. See, he's saying I've seen religion, but I want to get back to this thing.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't want religion because I was in my boring little life. Now this evil black Bible, sure, it left me in the rain naked, but at least there's some variation in my life now. Now
You gotta hit the back arrow.
Now things
so
are.
Get that ad.
Yeah. We'll just look at it here. See, it's already there. It's
Okay.
just this computer's mega slow,
okay.
so I had it up on 2 screens. So
I think you're right. That is what it looks like. Yeah.
yeah, when he says "let me go," it looks like the people are saying, "Yo, you gotta stop, you gotta chill," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Chill, fam." Now, here's what I'd say about that. If I was not a Christian and I didn't experience how exciting the Christian life is,
Yeah.
because when you actually start doing the things Jesus tells you to do, life is pretty freaking exciting. Like,
Yeah.
we've been in situations where, like, sure, they were a little bit dangerous, and sure, some of us almost got arrested, and sure, but it wasn't boring.
No, it wasn't. And I mean, even people that were too afraid to do the things that we were doing, they all sat around like, tell us the stories.
Sadak, right. Right.
We could tell you guys some pretty fun stories.
Right. So, like, it's not a boring way of life.
No.
But the watered down, mealy-mouthed, evangelicalism that, Pony told me earlier today, she's like, you're not very fond of evangelicals, are you? I consider myself an evangelical, but I'm not fond of American evangelicalism. It's too safe. Nobody wants to kill you. It's just, I'm not really a fan of it. I like Christianity where people want to kill you. Like, that's when you're doing it right.
I mean, that's what happened to the disciples. The disciples of Jesus, they all got killed.
Yeah, nobody wants to kill
They were serious of their,
Yeah, nobody wants to kill you. I'm not really a fan of your Christianity. So, but here's the thing. If I didn't know anything, so it looks like this guy got some, nasty American Christianity because he's like, I've seen it, I'm blinded by light, I want this thing because it's exciting. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I would totally be that guy. Like, I can't deal with, like, too much boredom and all that. And it's probably a pathology of mine, but, like, I would especially if it, like, opened some portal to some other world or something like that. Like, I would definitely be about that. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I hear what you're saying.
A
I'm
lot of
thinking about that for
fantasy
myself,
novels,
yeah.
like C.S. Lewis, things like that, like, the whole concept of, like, opening a portal to another dimension and getting away from the drudgery of just basic life, like, is,
Well, I think that, like, there are times where, I've talked to somebody about, like, supernatural things that were happening, like, on, like, the more, like, I guess you could say demonic or side of it. And, like, some of them, the stories sounded interesting, but a lot of them, it like, got to, like, that terror point.
Right.
And that's what, like...
Right.
Like, maybe at first, like, I would be like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but, like, the minute that I would feel that fearful, I'd be like, nah, I'm out.
I heard a pretty horrifying situation where initially this spirit come to visit this person. Initially it was friendly and all this, and then it slowly progressed to being extremely hostile and controlling of the person. And then, so, like, I agree. That's the other side of it is, it looks all good and exciting initially.
Yeah.
And then people end up in severe torment. And when I say torment, I'm like, torment. And
I've known people also.
So it's like, that's the thing. It's like, it's no joke. And, like I always say, people have always had my buddy Sarkast was like, he's had some inexplicable experiences, but he knows it has nothing to do with the supernatural. It's like, how could you know that? You know, like, come on, fam. But yeah, it's nothing to be messed around with or played with.
Yeah.
But it is extremely seductive, especially if you're living a monotonous, boring life. You know, one of the reasons I'm very thankful for our lifestyle is that, you know, there's a lot of variety, and we've got a lot of, you know, we got to go out there and put out and put out product for sure. But, you know, like, we have a lot of variation and things like that, and it's fun.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
But if you don't have enough of that variation, I feel like that. I think people who are open to demonic.
Oh, look, it says it's written by Vinny.
What? Vinny Apici. Look at that. Shout out to the big homie. I wrote this song back in 2009. We have to give it an 11. So it just, you know, like, I think people who are the most vulnerable to satanic attack are not people who are like raised in a coven or something like that. Or, it's not the LaVeyans. It's not Low Speller. I think the people who are really, like, you know, vulnerable are people who are just bored with their regular life.
You know what I think? I think that people that are deeply spiritual, like, some people just have like a more spiritual connection.
Yes.
They're more easily bored by regular life because they were made for like something supernatural.
Right. They're closer to the original intention for why they were born.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all of us have it, whether people admit it or not. There's like that dissatisfaction that you can't really put your finger on. And everybody's trying to deal with that. And then when you run into some dark energy.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I like had this picture in my mind, like your body gets bored, you throw it on a roller coaster, your spirit gets bored, and you're like, what can I do, you know?
Yeah, let's go into the depths of hell.
Yeah.
Ninth circle, let's do it. So obviously I do not recommend doing that.
Right, yeah.
I recommend, you know, living an exciting Christian life. But at the same time, I have to kind of commiserate with people and be like, well, a lot of the Christianities that people have are not very exciting Christianities. You know, they're not very fun.
Yeah, I've experienced so much exciting Christianity that...
Well, yeah, you and I have, for sure.
That I'm like, I can't. You're right. I wouldn't be able to do the boring.
I can't hack it. I wouldn't be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, come to our side. We have cookies,
right,
and corn.
We do.
A couple people get that joke.
Yep.
What will you? What do you give the song?
What will you rate this song? This is like a 9.9 for me. It was very good.
It's a 9.7. Heavy riffage. Great lyricism. You know, the sound, the vocals are crazy. Always with Ryan James Dio. These guys are just, again, it's just the consistency that I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm very glad that Drew's crew brought, because we haven't listened to a Dio song in like 4 or 5, almost half a year. So thank you very much for that, guy. It's really cool when that happens. So thank you, I appreciate it. So there you are, dear listener.
Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, so part 2 is coming out, should be out later on today, patrons.
On Patreon, yep.
And then part 1 will be out for the general public on Thursday, and then part 2 will be released to the general public on Friday. But we're still doing regular songs and all that jazz. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.